Are you new to React Native and feeling a bit lost? You're not alone. Many beginners struggle with understanding the folder structure of their projects. Today, we're going to help you figure out why those iOS and Android folders might be missing from your setup. I totally get it. It can be really confusing when you create a new project and expect to see certain folders, but they just aren't there. You're not the only one facing this issue, and it's a common concern among new developers. Let's dive into the specific question at hand. One user recently asked, "Why are the iOS and Android folders missing from my React Native project?" They mentioned that after creating their project with NPM and running it with Expo, they only saw a few starting files and a Node modules folder. Sound familiar? Let's explore this together. So what's going on here? When you create a new React Native project using Expo, it sets up a managed workflow. This means that the iOS and Android folders are not created by default because Expo handles the native code for you. This is great for beginners, but it can be confusing when you're looking for those folders. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a tip on how to create those folders if you need them, and why you might want to consider doing so. To address the user's issue, the first step is to understand that the user is likely using Expo to create their React Native project. When using Expo, the iOS and Android folders are not generated by default. If the user wants to access the native iOS and Android folders, they need to eject from Expo. This process is called ejecting, and it allows the user to have full control over the native code. To eject, the user should run the command expo eject in their project directory. This will prompt the user to confirm the action and will generate the iOS and Android folders. After ejecting, the user will see the newly created iOS and Android folders in their project structure. They can now modify native code and integrate additional libraries that require native configurations. Finally, the user should consult the React Native documentation for any additional setup required after ejecting, especially if they plan to use native modules or libraries. Fun fact, did you know that React Native was developed by Facebook? It allows developers to build mobile apps using JavaScript and React, making it easier to create cross-platform applications. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution provided by another user is to delete the existing Android and iOS folders if they are present. Then, they recommend installing a package called React Native Eject and running the eject command. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. One alternative solution is to run the command expo eject. This user faced issues after downgrading their React Native application, which led to missing iOS and Android folders. After deleting those folders, they used expo eject to resolve build issues. Let's take a moment to review another user's answer. An alternative solution from another user suggests starting by installing React Native. After that, run the command expo init your project and choose the minimal TypeScript option. Once you are in the Your Project directory, instead of running npm start, you should run npm run Android. This approach may help you generate the missing iOS and Android folders. Now, let's shift our focus to a different response. An alternative solution shared by another user is to check your settings. They suggest going to the settings and removing both Android and iOS from the Files Exclude section. Make sure to do this for both user and workspace settings. Now let's dive into a different answer from another user. If you created your project using Expo, you won't see the iOS and Android folders. Instead, you'll find the Expo folder in your project structure. Here's a quick reminder. If you decide to eject, make sure to back up your project first. You don't want to lose any of your hard work. And there you have it. Now you know why those iOS and Android folders might be missing and how to get them if you need them. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button for more tips and tricks on React Native development.